I'm on my way to Ness Waterfall. I really ought to have done a little bit more research about this. That's all I know is the name. Took about 30 minutes to get here, and it's another dull day, so I thought what better to do than a waterfall, so that's what we're here to do. So it is very picturesque, as you can see. It's absolutely gorgeous. We don't often get this sort of condition or this sort of environment in Adelaide. All this green lichen, you get it in England, and you get it in parts of New South Wales and Queensland, but in Adelaide that's just not what we get. And so I think I'm going to try and take a photograph somewhere along here and then along the stream before we get to the falls themselves. So fingers crossed. Yeah, let's see what we can see. Okay, so we haven't reached the falls yet, but I was taken with this little cascade, thinking this might make an interesting shot. Now normally you do not shoot down a cascade because it doesn't give you any drama, any sense of drama, that is, or depth, because you're only catching the water running away. But I quite like this composition because there are a couple of additional standouts that I think raise it from just shooting boulders and water running away from you. And those couple of standouts are, first of all, in the distance, that we have this lovely little bridge. At the moment it's actually been lit up by that diffused light, and we do have a lot of beautiful rocks here, so the water should be that element that draws your eye in, and then I'm hoping the rocks and that bridge will be the final destination. So that's the idea of the shot. So let's see if we can actually make it happen. So I'll need to come up and use 20-25 mil to get that image that I wanted, and it doesn't look too bad. It's great as a first image, so you can just about see it there, pardon the reflection, and I think you can see that water's coming in probably mid-frame, slightly off to the left and going off to the bottom left-hand third. And then hopefully you can just make out that I've got the bridge across the top, and we're lucky enough that the foliage is dense enough that I don't have to include any of that sky. So at the moment we're at 1 second. I think that's absolutely fine. ISO 50. I don't have to play around exposure blending, I don't think. I might need to adjust for this water. I think a second might be too much. I might need to go down to about half a second, quarter of a second, but we will see. There are no great highlights to worry about. Some specular on that water maybe. So I'm at a second. I could possibly raise that a bit, but I won't. But what I will have to do is just focus stack this. I have these two boulders in front of me, and the third boulder and then the bridge. Now, as ever, if I get an opportunity, I'll do a portrait shot as a free wallpaper for you, the viewers. And I think we may be able to do that here. So what I'm going to do is put our camera in portrait orientation. I am going to spin the filter. Not that the filter itself will make any difference, but the polarizer will. And I'll adjust the polarizer to make sure it's doing its job, which it is. Now, the reason why I thought this image would work is because we have a lovely piece of green foreground here, and I think that works fabulously well. There we go, and there are some pretty leaves about. Okay, right, as before, we haven't got a breath of air, but as before, I'm going to take this out and do a very fast exposure. I'm going to go to about 6400-ish, 1600-ish, and I want about 100th of a second. That looks about right. Okay, so now, once again, we will go through a focus stack just to get the scene completely in focus. This time it's very important, and we have the water coming in from the bottom right hand corner, going down that gully, and then the big rock catching the light, and the bridge in the background. And to be honest, when I saw this composition, I was over here at the back and I thought, oh, that looks nice. I actually did think that it would be best as portrait, so I'll leave it for you to decide. I think both work, but I think this one is much the stronger composition. I'm loving this. Okay, looks like we've only walked about 100 meters and found another potential composition. We are a little dodgy here on the edge of a deep gully, so we'll just have to be careful. And the other thing we've got to be careful of, I don't think I've got quite enough reach for this composition. I've got the 20 to 35 and I haven't got the 32 to 64, so I'm zoomed all the way in, but it does make for a nice composition. Now I need to be quite low because there is a log fall over there, and at my height standing up it interferes with the cascade that's in the back, but here I'm just about able to manage, I think. So I think you can just about see that up there. and hopefully we are low enough. But it does make an interesting composition. I do wish the water in the bottom right hand corner was actually swirling. There's not quite enough force in the water for that at the time being, so we'll just have to, we have to accept it. But it's beautiful, beautiful green, probably the green of Ireland. It is absolutely stunning, especially against the water and the dark rocks. So I am zooming in to miss out that water. We will have to focus stack this, and again, your eyes led all the way up this gully by the water from top right, bottom left. So there's a great use of triangles here. It's one of those compositional, techniques or tips that you should bear in mind. Diagonals are great in landscape photography, and we've got several here. We've got the diagonal of the water. It's crossed by these fallen trees, and it's it's beautiful. It is really beautiful. I will need to focus stack, so I will go up to f16 on this. So there's no need for any filters. It's quite dark down here. I'm easily getting a couple of seconds without blowing anything out at all. Perfect. That green is really popping. So I'll focus stack this as always, starting at the bottom. 1.3 seconds f16 ISO 200. I'll pop all those together and then see how we go. Well, we've come off the beaten track again, and this time I'm just going to do a little walk before I commit, because there's so many beautiful things here to photograph that I think I've got to be a little bit more selective. But it's gorgeous, just absolutely phenomenally pretty. So I'm not sure where the waterfall itself is, so we're going to follow this little trail through and see if we can find it. If we can't, we're going to come back and we'll photograph this little pool here. I suppose there's an old saying that the best way, take this off for a minute, best way to take a photo of a waterfall is from the side, because you get much more impressive outcome. But unfortunately it's very difficult to get anywhere near the side on this. However, I think that the rocks around it really do help an awful lot. I'm going to very quickly take this because the sun's gone. I'm going to take a 1 second exposure, f16. And I've already made a mistake, so let me start that again. Hopefully the sun won't come out. I didn't lock my focus where I wanted it so that it stays the same throughout. And I'm going to lock it on the background for now, which is on the where the falls are. So I'm going to take each shot, 2 second timer, 1.3 seconds per image. And that, I think, is going to be a super pano. So I took that image as quickly as I could while the sun was away. So it's basically just that line of rocks, the waterfall, and then capturing this side here. And you will notice in the water that that water's just swirled gently around that corner. So a super long exposure, which I'm probably going to do, is perfect. Okay, so I've got the waterfall on the rule of thirds, those beautiful green rocks on the right. Have you noticed that swirling water of bubbles coming round and leading off to the bottom right? Well, I'm going to do focus stack, of course, and then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to do some short exposures to capture the texture in that waterfall, and some beautiful colour in that. You can see the minerals, and some longer exposures to see if I can get those bubbles, coax those bubbles into a beautiful little line that'll lead your eye in. So that hopefully is what I'm going to attempt with this. So I'm very quickly, I'm still at 1.3 seconds. I'm going to take that waterfall now, and there's not a breath of air. This foliage is stock still. So while we've got that, I'm just going to take a few shots and focus stack this up. So once I've got the rocks sharp as I need them to be, I can paint in the water using multiple exposures should I find it necessary. So we're at 1.3 seconds. I'm going to have a look, see what I think of those line of bubbles. Nice. I think they can go longer. That's me. So I am going to go a little longer. So throw on our filters once again. Can't be complacent because we know that the light can change at any minute. The polarizer is on to full effect, and by that I mean it's taking the glare off the wet rocks and the glare off the water, so that those simple little bubbles should be able to shine through. Now we're at 1.3 seconds. I should get about 8 seconds ish. It's looking about 6.5. So I'm going to focus in the middle on those rocks. Take that and then have a look and see if I want longer or shorter. Remember last time it was around 4 seconds looked good, then 2 seconds looked even better. So we'll just have to have a look at this. I actually think that looks nice. I think longer is better. So if I put a 6 stop on, I'll get a minute. So I'll swap out the 3 stop. Throw on a 6. Just like that. Come up to a minute. Double check I've got the 6, not the 10 on. I think it's the 6. It is the 6. And then I'll do a series of probably half a second, quarter of a second for that waterfall. But one looked nice. With a wide angle lens, to be honest, because it throws the subject further back, the perspective is further back, it won't make an awful lot of difference whether it's half a second or whether it's a second. But I like to play with it anyway. There is a tiny difference. Not much at all, so we'll give it a go and see what happens. Whereas if you're with a telephoto, and your telephoto is, you know, an intimate shot, close-up vignette, then the shutter speed has a massive difference. So don't worry too much with wide angles. If you're using a wide angle with a waterfall, it really doesn't make a massive amount of difference. And those streaks look lovely. We could go even further, I think. So I'm at ISO 200. I'm going to come all the way down to ISO. I'm going to go to ISO 50, and then I'm going to go to 2 minutes. And then I've got choices of what I want. wonderful, wonderful little time spent here. Aye, amazing little Ness Falls, and aye, I miss the green. We don't see much of this type of green in Adelaide. You do in other states, as I said earlier, but this is just amazing, beautiful, so good for the eyes, so good for the soul. It's yeah, it's been good to get out. It's been good to get out and enjoy photographing rocks, greens, water, moss, you name it. It's fantastic. So that's my saying, isn't it? Get up, get out, get a shot, get it on a wall. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed today. Hope you've enjoyed this little episode, this little adventure. What leaves me to say is please look after yourself, look after your loved ones, and until next time, see ya. Beautiful, just beautiful.